Hello, my name is Matthew Hernandez and this is preintermediate level, Unit 2, Life in the City. We will discuss transportation and public services. We will ask questions about the Twin Cities. Unit 2, Life in the City. In this unit, we will discuss transportation and public services. Here we have a list of words, which are nouns. Column A and column B are talking about compound nouns. We are going to match the words in column A and column B to make compound nouns. But what are compound nouns? What do we call a police officer who is a man? Policeman. And how do we call his car? Police car. What do we call his dog? Police dog. All these three words are examples of compound nouns. Compound nouns are nouns that are made with two or more words to create a new idea or a meaning. We have to match the nouns in column A and column B to get the new compound nouns. An example would be subway. We have it here, subway, plus the word station. We match them, we get subway station. We have another compound word here, traffic jam, green space. These are some examples of compound nouns. Bicycle lane, bicycle stand. Bus lane, bus station. Bus stop, bus system. Parking garage, parking space. Recycling center, recycling system. Green space, street light. Subway stop, subway station. Subway line, subway system. Taxi lane, taxi stand. Traffic jam, white hotspots. Train stop and train station. Here we have examples of compound nouns with the words bicycle, bicycle lane, bicycle stand, with bus, bus lane, bus station, bus stop, bus system, with green, green space, parking, parking garage, parking space, with recycling, recycling center, recycling system, with street, street light, with subway, subway station, subway stop, subway system, with taxi, taxi lane, taxi stand, with traffic, traffic jam, traffic light, train, train station, train stop, and train system. These are some examples of compound nouns. Which of these things can you find where you live? Give some examples, like there are a lot of bus lanes. Yes, but there isn't a subway system. Activity number 2, perspectives. Which speaker says the biggest problem is parking? Which speaker says the streets are dark and dangerous? Which speaker says there is too much pollution? I am going to play an audio and you're going to match them to the correct pictures.
Life in the City. Page 8, Exercise 2. Perspectives. City Services. Part A. Listen to these opinions about city services. Match them to the correct pictures.
The streets are dark and dangerous. I don't think there are enough police officers. And we need more streetlights.
There's too much pollution from cars, motorcycles, and old buses. In cities with less pollution, people are healthier.
There should be fewer cars, but I think that the biggest problem is parking. There just isn't enough parking.
Does your city or town have similar problems? What do you think is the biggest problem? Pause the video and complete by writing here the letter of the left pictures. Ready? So this is too easy. The streets are dark and dangerous. This is letter C. There's too much pollution from cars, motorcycles. So it's letter A. There should be fewer cars, but I think this letter B. If you have those answers like that, you are correct. Now let's go to activity number 3, which is grammar focus.
Exercise 3. Grammar focus. Expressions of quantity. With count nouns.
There are too many cars.
There should be fewer cars.
We need more streetlights.
There aren't enough police officers.
With non-count nouns.
There is too much pollution.
There should be less pollution.
We need more public transportation.
There isn't enough parking.
Here we are talking about expressions of quantity. Let me explain with this. Expressions of quantity. We count nouns. There are too many cars. There should be fewer cars. We need more streetlights. There aren't enough police officers. Countable nouns are nouns that can be countable. For example, apples, oranges, cars. We can say 1 car, 2 cars, 3 cars. And non-countable nouns are nouns that can be counted. For example, pollution. We cannot say 1 pollution, 2 pollutions, 3 pollutions. So we use too much. There is too much pollution. There should be less pollution. We need more public transportation. There isn't enough parking. Count nouns have a plural form that usually ends in S. Non-count nouns don't have a plural form because you can't separate and count them. Are there any parking garages around here? But is there any parking around here? Note, are there any parkings around here? We cannot say aren't any parking around here. Here I have some more examples of too much, too many, less, and fewer. Count nouns. With count nouns, we can say there are too many apples, for example, or there are too few apples, or there are fewer apples. With noun count nouns, there is too much milk, there is too little milk, or there is less milk. And we use more, which means not enough. Now we have a list of adverbs. The adverbs that we use with countable nouns are a lot of, too many, aren't enough, more, too few, few, aren't many, and fewer. The adverbs we use with uncountable nouns are a lot of, too much, isn't enough, more, too little, a little, isn't too much, should be less. So these are the adverbs we can use with countable nouns like cars. There are a lot of cars in the city. Or there are too many street lights in the city. We can count those nouns. And with nouns that are uncountable nouns, for example, if we are talking about traffic, there's a lot of traffic. There's too much pollution in the city. We use too many with countable nouns and too much with uncountable nouns. They express the idea of a large quantity being negative. For example, there are too many people in Shanghai, which means a lot of people and it is a bad thing. There is too much pollution. It means that it's very polluted and obviously bad. Point 2. We use fewer with countable nouns and less with uncountable nouns. These are often confused. Try to avoid confusing them. They imply a decreased quantity. For example, fewer for countable and less for uncountable. There are fewer phone booths than there used to be. There should be less crime. Point 3. We use more both countable and uncountable nouns. It implies an increased quantity. There should be more lights on the streets. I need more rice. Point 4. We use not enough with both countable and uncountable nouns. It has a meaning of need more. Note, countable nouns use are and uncountable nouns use is before not enough. Example, there aren't enough taxis. There isn't enough food. As taxis is countable, we use aren't, negative. Food is uncountable. We cannot say one food, two foods. So it's uncountable, so that's why we use is, and in negative, isn't. Page 9, activity number 3. We have explained the expressions of quantity, so we're going to complete these statements about city problems. And then we are going to compare with the answers. Pause the video and answer this activity. Let's compare the answers of this activity. Here we have some possible answers. We need more public schools. There are too many accidents. There are too few public parks, or there aren't enough public parks. There is too much noise all the time. There is too little recycling in our city. There isn't enough recycling in our city. The government should build more affordable housing, or the government should build less affordable housing. The city needs more bicycle lanes. The city needs fewer bicycle lanes. There are too few free Wi-Fi hotspots. There aren't enough free Wi-Fi hotspots. Here in Activity B, we have the opportunity to answer and practice. We're going to write sentences about the city or town we live in. we are living in. The city should provide more public transportation, for example. The city should provide more public transportation. We have too many cars. And so on. We are going to continue completing the 8 sentences. Pause the video and you can continue. Now we are going to continue with activity number 4, which is listening. It will take more forever. It will take forever. Letter A. Listen to a city resident talk to her new neighbor about the city. You're going to check true or false for each statement.
9. Exercise 4. Listening. It'll take forever. Part A. Listen to a city resident talk to her new neighbor about the city. Check true or false for each statement.
Hi there. I'm Sophia. You must be my new neighbor.
Yes, hi. My name's Jacob.
Welcome to the building. Are you all moved in?
I am. Tomorrow I start my new job downtown.
That's great. So you have a car?
No, I don't. I was planning to take the bus there.
Oh, you don't want to do that. It'll take forever. There aren't enough buses in this city. We really need more public transportation.
Really?
Yeah, everyone has a car. And in summer, there are way too many tourists. So there are even more cars than usual right now. And don't even ask about parking.
Well, I really don't want to buy a car. Is it safe to ride a bike?
Yeah, people ride their bikes a lot, actually. Do you have one?
No, I don't. But I guess I'll buy one.
If you want, you can borrow my bike tomorrow. And I know a great bike shop I can recommend.
Wow, thanks, Sophia. I appreciate it.
You're going to listen one more time, the audios, and then you're going to get the false statements to rewrite it with the correct information.
9. Exercise 4. Part B. Listen again. For the false statements, write the correct information.
Hi there. I'm Sophia. You must be my new neighbor.
Yes, hi. My name's Jacob.
Welcome to the building. Are you all moved in?
I am. Tomorrow I start my new job downtown.
That's great. So you have a car?
No, I don't. I was planning to take the bus there.
Oh, you don't want to do that. It'll take forever. There aren't enough buses in this city. We really need more public transportation.
Really?
Yeah, everyone has a car. And in summer, there are way too many tourists. So there are even more cars than usual right now. And don't even ask about parking.
Well, I really don't want to buy a car. Is it safe to ride a bike?
Yeah, people ride their bikes a lot, actually. Do you have one?
No, I don't. But I guess I'll buy one.
If you want, you can borrow my bike tomorrow. And I know a great bike shop I can recommend.
Wow, thanks, Sophia. I appreciate it.
Here are the possible answers. Number 1, Jacob already started his new job downtown. It's false. He starts his new job tomorrow. Number 2, the city needs more buses. That's true. There aren't enough tourists in the city. False. In summer, there are too many tourists. Number 4, not many people ride bikes in the city. That's false. People ride their bikes a lot. Number 5, Sophia offers to lend Jacob her bike. True. Let's continue going to activity number 7, which is common tourists questions. What is the best way to see the city? How much do taxis cost? Which hotels is closest to the airport? Where should I go shopping? What festivals or events are taking place? Where can I buy a SIM card for my phone? Where's a good place to meet friends? Where can I get a city guide? What museums should I see? What are some family friendly activities? Let's check the questions you can answer about your city. What other questions could a visitor ask about your city? Talk to your classmates. Well, in this case, you don't have a classmate, but you're going to find a question and add it right here. These are the common tourist questions, questions that tourists ask when they arrive to a new city. Now let's listen to a conversation. Do you know where? This is a conversation that you are going to practice. Listen and practice.
Conversation. Do you know where? Part A. Listen and practice.
Excuse me, do you know where the nearest ATM is?
There's one down the street, across from the cafe.
Great. And do you know where I can catch a bus downtown?
Sure. Just look for the signs for public transportation.
Okay. And can you tell me how often they run?
They run every 10 minutes or so.
And just one more thing. Could you tell me where the restrooms are?
Right inside. Do you see where that sign is?
Oh, thanks a lot.
Okay, now listen to the rest of the conversation. You're going to check the information that Rachel asks for.
Exercise 8. Part B. Listen to the rest of the conversation. Check the information that Rachel asks for.
Excuse me, it's me again. I'm sorry. I need some more information, if you don't mind. Do you know how much the bus costs?
It's $10. You can buy a ticket on the bus.
$10? Wow.
Well, a taxi costs about $25.
Okay. And do you know where a bookstore is? I'd like to get a city guide.
Go 2 blocks down and turn right. You'll see one on your left.
Thanks very much. Have a nice day.
You too.
Okay, the answer is the cost of the bus fare and the location of a bookstore. Now let's go to the grammar focus.
Page 11. Exercise 9. Grammar focus. Indirect questions from WH questions. WH questions with B.
Where is the nearest ATM? Where are the restrooms?
Indirect questions.
Could you tell me where the nearest ATM is? Do you know where the restrooms are?
WH questions with do.
How often do the buses run? What time does the bookstore open?
Indirect questions.
Can you tell me how often the buses run? Do you know what time the bookstore opens?
WH questions with can.
Where can I catch the bus?
Indirect questions.
Do you know where I can catch the bus?
Do you remember the questions that a tourist can ask when he arrives at a city? Okay. These are indirect questions. When do we use them? Indirect questions are often considered rude when speaking to strangers. To be more polite, we often use indirect questions. Indirect questions serve the same purpose as direct questions, but are considered more formal. Here we have the indirect questions example. A direct question will be, how much do you earn? And the indirect question could be, could you tell me how much you earn? And here we have a formula. The introductory sentence starts with, could you tell me? Would you tell me? And the WH plus the WH question, how much, what, where, when, which, plus the positive or negative sentence, you earn. In this unit, we are going to see, could you tell me? Can you tell me? Do you know? So these are the introductory sentences, plus the WH questions, how much, where, when, what time, and here we're going to write down the positive or negative sentence. Here we have another. Indirect questions using WH words. Here we have the formula. The first we have to write down is the introductory phrase plus the question word, which is what, when, where, why, and which, plus the subordinate clause, which is the positive sentence structure. The direct question will be, where can I find the Prado Museum? Then I am going to add the introductory phrase, which can be, can you tell me? Could you tell me, or do you know? Plus the question word, where. And here we are going to change this question into a positive sentence, or a positive sentence structure. Can I find the Prado Museum? I need to change it into positive one. It will be, I can find El Prado Museum. Here we have some other questions. We have the formula, introductory phrase, plus question word, plus positive sentence structure. The direct questions, in order to change them into indirect questions, will be the following way. Introductory phrase. We need to add the introductory phrase. Can you tell me? And then the question word. And then here is the question. What is Toronto Street? Toronto Street is, in a positive way. Toronto Street is. Now, what time does the supermarket open? The introductory phrase, do you know? Then the question word, what time? What time does the supermarket open? The supermarket opens. That's the sentence in a positive structure. Here we have another explanation. Indirect questions using WH words. The formula will be, number one, introductory phrase. Which is the introductory phrase? Could you tell me? Would you tell me? Do you know? Can you tell me? Plus, number two, question word. Which are the question words? What, when, where, why, which. Now, plus number three, the subordinate clause, which is positive sentence structure. The direct question will be, where can I find El Prado Museum? We will change it this way. Could you tell me where I can find El Prado Museum? We are going to place the introductory phrase at the beginning and then the WH question plus the subordinate clause. I can find El Prado Museum. As you can see, in the question, can goes first, but when we change it at the end, I put, I can find El Prado Museum. No, can I find? So this is the positive way that I am going to use in this structure. When using an indirect question, use an introductory phrase followed by the question itself in positive sentence structure. Let's continue with this. Direct, the WH questions will be, where is Tondo Street? Indirect question, positive word order. Can you tell me where Tondo Street is? When we begin a question with the verb to be, which is, are, or am, I am going to put it at the end. What is Tondo Street? Remember, can you tell me? Plus where, which is the WH question, and then Tondo Street is, which is the affirmative way to write the sentence. What time does the supermarket open? Do you know what time the supermarket opens? The same. We will place the introductory phrase. Do you know, and then what time, the WH question? And we are not going to write the auxiliary those. We're going to use the sentence in affirmative form. The supermarket opens. As this is third person supermarket, we're going to add the letter S in opens. And we are going to eliminate the auxiliary those. Do you know what time the supermarket opens? Another, how much do you earn? Could you tell me how much do you earn? Since we are using the auxiliary do, we're going to eliminate it here. We're going to place the introductory phrase. Could you tell me the WH question, how much? And you earn. We're going to eliminate the auxiliary do. What is he doing? May I ask what he is doing? As you can see, may I ask, and then the WH question, he is doing, is the affirmative form of the sentence. What is your last name? May I know what your last name is? The verb to be goes at the end. When we use the word can I play the piano? Could you tell me if I can play the piano? Now let's go to the exercise. Number 9. Here we have to write indirect questions using these WH questions. Pause the video and let's answer this activity in your notebooks. These are the possible answers you will get. Could you tell me where I can rent a car? Or can you tell me where I can rent a car? Or do you know where I can rent a car? Can you tell me how much a city tour costs? You can use any of this. Could you tell me? Can you tell me? Or do you know how early the stores open? Where the nearest Wi-Fi hotspot is? Can you tell me how much a taxi to the airport costs? Could you tell me what time the post office opens? Do you know where an inexpensive hotel in this area is? Can you tell me how late the nightclubs stay open? In order to practice asking and answering these kind of questions, you can choose 5 questions from part A and try to ask them in an audio and answer it and send it to your teacher. For example, do you know where I can rent a car? Yes, of course. You can go to a rent a car center, and then you can rent it there. Let's continue with the pronunciation exercise. Here we are going to level stress.
Page 12, Exercise 10, Pronunciation, Syllable Stress. Part A. Listen and practice. Notice which syllable has the main stress in these two-syllable words.
Subway. Traffic. Garage. Police.
As you can see in the first two words, the syllable which is stressed is the first one, subway, traffic. And in the second row, the words are stressed in the second syllable, garage, police.
Page 12, Exercise 10, Part B. Listen to the stress in these words. Write them in the correct columns. Then compare with a partner.
Buses. Improve.
Bookstore. Provide.
Event. Public.
Hotel. Taxis.
You're going to write down the words here. Pause the video and listen again and write the words. This will be the answers. Buses, bookstore, public, taxis, improve, provide, event, hotel. Let's continue practicing to make indirect questions. Here on the left side, you have some questions, direct questions. Where's the best area to stay? What's the best way to see the city? How late do the buses run? How much do people tip in a restaurant? What a good restaurant to try the local food? What are the most popular attractions? Where can I hear live music? These are examples of direct questions. You're going to practice changing them into indirect questions. Example, where's the best area to stay? Do you know where the best area to stay is? Once you have changed the direct questions into indirect questions, record a video or record an audio asking these questions and answering them. Let's go to page number 13. You're going to skim the article. Then, which of the following things does it mention? You're going to skim it very quickly like this. Looking for the word transportation, natural areas, safety, entertainment, schools, and housing. Take time to read the world's happiest cities. You're going to read in silence, and then you're going to decide which pictures matches each paragraph. Here you have Singapore, Aarhus, Denmark, San Luis Obispo, California, USA, Monterrey, Mexico. You're going to match which number is each one that matches each image. Once you have read this article, you're going to match the paragraphs A to D to the pictures 1 to 4. Read the comments from residents of these 4 cities. Which city do you think they live in? Write the letter. Finally, you can compare your answers. The number 1 is letter B, number 2 letter D, number 3 letter C, number 4 is letter A. And with the comments from the residents of these 4 cities. The number 1 is letter D, number 2 letter B, 3 letter B, 4 letter A, 5 letter C, 6 letter D, 7 letter A, and 8 letter B. With this reading, we have concluded the Unit 2.